Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Picnic Table Chat Show. Thank you all for coming back for another one. This is season 8, episode 5. My God, that makes me feel old. Thank you, everyone, for. You're not even that old. Like, none of you guys are that old yet. But you might hear my youngest in the background. She's now got a new obsession with using my phone because she found out there's YouTube on it. She might come in and try and steal it. It's all good. We'll get her to say hello. We all know the situation with my youngest. She's obviously autistic and whatnot, and she stays up quite late sometimes. So whatever, we'll go with the flow. How is everyone doing? Thank you all for coming into the chat. We've got loads of people in the chat right now. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Let me know how things are going. If you've got any questions for me or anything you want to know about the shows, let me know as well. I'm going to start out by saying, whilst we've got quite a good audience as well, we are getting closer and closer to the 1,000 subscribers. I think I'm like 25 away from 1,000 subscribers. Now, obviously, we're going to be doing our big live giveaway thing when we reach 1,000 subscribers. But we're also going to be doing something else really cool, or something I think is really cool. So we're going to be putting gift voucher codes in old videos. And it's going to flash up in a video. Like, you're going to have to go back through all the old videos. It will flash up for 3 seconds, and it will be the first person who finds it gets to use it. Basically, it will be one use only, and once it's used, it won't be usable again. We will then delete it from that video and add a new one into another video. It just means that you're going to have to watch back all my videos again. It's going to be great fun. You're going to love it. It's going to be amazing for you. You've got over 600 different videos to choose from at the moment. So it's going to be lots of sitting there watching footage. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, then you've got a bit of an advantage anyways, because you're probably going back through and watching videos as it is. So I'm just trying, I'm like following the chat, but trying to keep my mind on what I'm saying. So yeah, that's going to be happening when we reach 1,000. It's going to be big vouchers for like probably £25 vouchers, £50 vouchers and above. So it's going to be worth going back through and looking for them. And like I say, we'll make a little announcement when it gets found and used and replaced with another one, so everyone knows to start looking again. But it just means you've got to keep watching those videos. There you go, Jason. You've watched 20 already so far today. Well, we've got over 600. So obviously a lot of those are shorts, but it could be anywhere. It's just got to be a 3-second up on the screen. Discount code is this. Yeah, I'm keeping a straight face, but yeah, it will come up on the screen. Discount code is this. First person to find it gets to use it, obviously, or first person uses it gets to use it, and then it will be rejected on the website after that initial use. And then when I get around to it, good evening, Paul, thanks for coming in. You missed that, buddy. I'll explain it again in a minute, so don't worry. So yeah, the last, if you find it after it's already been found, even if you're like just seconds behind, it will already be used, and the website will reject it after that single use. So it will be like a race to find them. But yeah, so it is just a bit of fun, and you know what I'm like with giving stuff away. I can't help myself sometimes, and it's just, yeah, a bit of fun for us. So he does have a face for radio. Yeah, cheers. What was I saying? So the Weymouth show's coming up. It's less than a month away now. I'm pretty what's the word? Excited. Oh, good evening, JB. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I'm pretty excited for the Weymouth show. Again, it's not strictly an ant show. It's not even strictly an invert show like my other shows. This is a completely separate entity. Obviously, there's going to be ants and inverts there. There's also going to be museums and cultural things and things from the local area showing off how awesome it is. There's also a few other little, well, I say little, other things that I've worked into it. You know, I like to add in extra things. So on the last one, we added in the big stages and the lectures and the demonstrations and things like that. This time we're adding in another thing. I'm not going to say what it is. You're going to have to come to the show to find out, and it's going to be great fun, especially if you come with a family. And then that's going to follow us as well to Bristol. So we're going to be adding something extra to Bristol as well. So again, you're just going to have to keep coming to every show to see what I keep adding in. It's going to be great fun. I've had a lot of fun putting things together. A lot of thought's gone into it. Obviously, lots of phone calls and emails have gone on behind the scenes as well. It's going to be great fun. I'm always super excited about what I've got going on. As you know, I love doing what I do. Yeah, Dino's not going to be joining us for Weymouth, sadly, but he does deserve a bit of time off. You know, Dino works very hard for me behind the scenes. I get him doing all sorts of things, and he's always there to help with the extra bits that I need, you know. So Dino's going to have a little break for this show, and then join us again at Bristol, hopefully, won't you, Dino? And then we'll all get to see Dino at Bristol. We'll let the I don't know, say hello, Dino, because we all miss seeing him at Weymouth, but we will have the rest of the crew there down at Weymouth. Obviously, Katrina is going to be there, Katrina and Dawn. We're going to have Sharon there, and a few other members of my staffing team as well. So don't worry. I think Bristol we're going to be fully staffed with my entire team, which will be really cool because I don't think anyone's ever met anyone like everyone before. Where is Ashford? If you tell me where Ashford is, I can tell you. Currently, our shows are yeah, hello Dino. Currently, we've just done Sheffield. We did Sheffield in February. Kent, right. So we did Sheffield in February. We've got Weymouth in May, and then we've got Bristol in August. Now, next year, we are adding 2 more shows. I'm not going to tell you where, but Kent is not far away from one of them. Yeah. Mainly because I'm down this end. I live on the Isle of Portland. If you can, JB, it would be spectacular. Obviously, it would be good for you to see how it's growing as well. I like carrying people along with me, if you know what I mean, so you can see it develop and like getting better every time. Obviously, a lot of it's down to like the funding behind the show, how much I can provide every time, but it's only getting bigger and better as we go. Not near a proper town like Manchester, man. They're all sort of like, once you get up there, all those big cities are like so close to, it's madness, isn't it? Like down here, we've got like no big cities near me at all, like none. Bristol one way, Exeter, and then you got London. They're all sort of like 2.5 hours away any direction. All you northerners are going to battle against like who's got the worst city now, aren't you? But yeah, we are looking over, like, because obviously I live in the south, we're looking at more southern venues for our events. We are going to be carrying on with our Sheffield event. I've already secured a venue for Sheffield and date and everything. And we've secured the Bristol and Weymouth venues for next year as well. And then we've also got a couple of other venues. There's one quite close to you, Kat, actually. We are looking at one close to you, but I'm not saying too much because obviously if I can't get a good venue there, then I'll find somewhere else. But we are looking to do 5 shows next year. We'll probably go keep it at 5 for a little while as well and just watch them develop as they are in those areas and see how it goes. We might cut back one show 1 year. We'll see. It's a learning curve. It's a work in progress. We've only done a few so far. So yeah, we're going for 5 next year. And if it goes well for those 5, we'll keep those 5 and just grow and grow and grow until we're happy, until everyone's having a spectacular time. But the Weymouth show, yeah, I'm really excited for the Weymouth show, mainly because it's so close to me. It's literally over the land bridge, and I'm there. I can take as much as I want. I've got full backing from the local council to go absolutely nuts. I got lots of local businesses involved as well. In fact, Paul is generously going to be sorted. I'm not going to speak for Paul, but Paul's being very generous towards the show at the moment, and lots of local businesses are going to get behind us and get involved with like the raffle and things like that. If you haven't got a raffle ticket, they are available. Obviously you don't have to come to the show to win the raffle. I'm probably not going to be dealing with it personally myself because I actually found it really hard to manage that. After I came back from the show, I had so much other stuff going on. It actually got quite a hindrance. So I'm probably going to be passing the raffle on to one of my staff members, probably my admin, and she'll get it all sent out to the winners nice and efficiently, which I really wasn't efficient this time. I can completely admit that. Like I said, I just had so much going on and it was just madness, and I needed 5 minutes to sit down as well. You'll be a bit closer. Yeah, Jason, definitely. It would be spectacular to have you at one of the events. Yeah, Dean, you're limited to like 5 tickets or something. I don't know. But that's it. If you buy loads of tickets, you're going to win more prizes. That is the way it is. But yeah, so raffle tickets are available under the raffle ticket section on merchandise on the store. Obviously your prizes get sent to you. £2.50 a ticket, as always. £5, no, £10 for 5. You know what I mean. Same as always, money gets split between the show fund and going back into a research project or conservation or something in the local area. And now, what else is there to say? So, after my little visit to hospital the other day, I will admit my chest is not doing the best now. About a week and a half, 2 weeks later. So there's a likeliness I might end up back in hospital in a few weeks. We will see how it goes. Don't be concerned. I will be in and out like a flash, like I always am. I am a beast. Takes more than that to slow me down, you know what I mean? All of those things that I usually say. But don't be concerned. Like I say, I will be fine. But there is a likeliness that I might end back up inside. So last time I've ended up with like a little build up of orders. I can finally say over the next 2 or 3 days I'm going to be getting out all of the orders, and I finally can relax because they're like niggling in the back of my head that I need to do this and I need to do that, and it's annoying me that I haven't But we're getting there, and I've got loads of parcels being picked up tomorrow, loads of parcels being picked up the day after, so it's all getting out. Dean, I am resting, man. Dean, you know how much I've been resting. I can honestly say almost every day since I come out of hospital, I've had to lie down for at least one nap. Some days 2 naps. I've been absolutely knackered. But we're getting there, and I've done my second day back in the gym, which was nice today. I forgot how much I really do enjoy training, so it's nice to get that. And if I carry on, I'll only add to the strength behind my mindset. Won a mystery box in the Sheffield raffle, and the missus has stole the shopping bag and the cup. Yeah, that's about right. I really do like those bags, though. Like I've got about 10 of them that I use, but I say I use. The missus tends to use them, and the kids use them, and they just they're everywhere. But yeah, I like those bags. I don't know why they're called like total. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, Rose Donna, yours are in I was going to say package, but it's the pile for tomorrow. So we've got, I'm not even going to go into it, but a big stack of boxes going tomorrow. And then what else? We got, yeah, I'll finally be catching up. I got some more stuff I want to get sent out as well. Like I've got loads of flyers and stuff that I still want to send out, but I just haven't got round to it. They say that sort of week, it wasn't even a whole week, it was like 5 days I was in hospital. It just sets it back so much. People don't realize how much I actually do in every single day. Missing a whole week is like, wow. Like I'm missing like 70 something hours of working time or something, you know what I mean? So what else is going on? The leaf cutters. Let's talk about the leaf cutters because we all want to know how it's getting on. I haven't done a video, a follow-up since saying about them not doing well. So I cleared out all of that yucky, mushy leaf matter that they had been building up. We know that. I done that last time. If you haven't been following the streams, basically my leaf cutters had been forming like this pile of rotten leaf mass around their fungus, and it had got to the point where it was so wet inside and just so grim. Like I opened the lid and it stunk like stale water, and it just wasn't good, and the fungus had shrunk considerably from what it was. So I cleaned out as much of that gunk as I can. I stuck it straight into the rubbish pile so that all the ants in it could come out, basically. And what I've been doing is I've been letting the whole thing, apart from the fungus chamber, air out every day as well now, letting the ventilation, much better ventilation with it. And the condensation comes from that leaf pile is absolutely insane. But it's starting to look a lot more drier now. So it was just too wet in there. There's a rule saying if the water touches fungus, the fungus will basically die. So that was what was happening, and it had lost at least half its size, which wasn't good. But I can gladly say, looking at it right now, it is making a decent comeback. It is probably almost the same size as it was before we came to Sheffield now. So it is coming back, and it's looking much healthier. It had got a real pale white, and yeah, it wasn't great. But yeah, it's doing much better. So I'm happy. I think they're going to make a good comeback. Obviously, leaf cutters are just so sensitive. Anything issues with fungus, it's just an absolute nightmare. So, but I think they're going to make a good comeback. They're going to make a good comeback. Now, before I carry on talking, waffling, because I can waffle and waffle and waffle, and talking about waffles is making me hungry, actually. My God, I'm hungry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have chili later. I'm going to get some rice and some chili. I'm going to eat and eat and eat. I am eating loads at the moment, by the way, absolutely tons. Maybe because I'm putting on weight and training again. I've managed to put on about 14 kilograms, maybe 15 kilograms since I last on my stream last week. So in a week, that's not bad kind of weight gain, and I'm more sort of my normal size before I started training many years ago. So I'm back where I started. I can honestly say, doing my first 10 press ups when I came back into training was like, my God, my arms are shaking. I used to sit there and do like 50 press ups and not think anything of it. And now I was like struggling to do 10. So I can honestly say I have lost so much muscle and all my athleticism. I am literally starting from scratch. So if anyone wants to do it like alongside me as motivation, I will not stop. And if you want us to keep up, now's the time to join. But I am literally starting from scratch. I can barely do, like, I pushed myself to 15 press ups today. You can do press studs. What's press studs? I have no idea what that is. But basically, I want to get back to where I was. I want to be strong again. My record was 2,800 press ups. So if I can do that again, I will be a happy chappy. Right, I get you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you did it at like speed, maybe like extreme press stud things. I don't know. Yeah, extreme buttoning up, we call it, and they do extreme everything these days. You got to do it underwater, and you've got 5 seconds to do the whole lot. Otherwise, we hold you to that. I don't know. That's pretty extreme, actually. Oh dear. So, anyways, before I carry on waffling, I went on another tangent. Should we have a little duck race? Now, if you don't watch the streams very often, these are just for fun. There's no prize involved unless I state otherwise. But at this point in time, we're just going to do it for fun. We're going to have a little duck race. We're extreme sleeping. I've seen that. They do like extreme, like they do like weird places, don't they? So we've got like 10 people in the chat right now. So let's go for 12 ducks. All you got to do is choose a number. It correlates to a duck. If you win, you win. It's all just good fun. Basically, choose a number. If your number's already chosen, choose another number. It doesn't matter what number you are. It's all for fun. No prizes involved. Let's get this going. Let's go for a 2-minute duck race with 12 ducks. I just got to remember how to bring it up. That one. Haha. Found it. Right, here we go. Let's have a little look at our participants. We've got plain duck. Obviously, we know the plain ducks. They don't really do a lot. They're a bit of a gang, but they're not as bad as the stripy and spotty ducks. We'll talk about them in a minute. We got bandana duck. He might be a pirate, right? You got to watch out for him. If he's got a sword, careful. Professor Duck, he's done the maths. He's going to get up there really super fast. He's got like a little engine going on behind him. He's sneaky. We got another plain duck here. Watch out for these plain ducks because they will try and trip these ones up, especially the professor. They'll kind of gang up on him. We got spotty and stripy. Another stripy on that side. You gotta be careful of those ones as well. They're gonna gang up. There's like a little crew, sort of dastardly and muttly. They might set a trap further up the stream. We'll have to wait and see. Christmas duck, obviously he's well out of season right now. He's been well rested, trying to keep his athleticism up. So he's gone in for a race. We got the bear duck. I don't really know what to say about bear duck. He's got an identity crisis going on. We got Judge Duck. Judge Duck is going to rule the waves. And Green and Astronaut. Astronaut Duck does have the rocket booster, but we've told him not to use it for this race because it's a little bit unfair on the other ducks. Anyways, let's get the sound off and let's get going. Good luck, everybody. If you have any questions about any of the shows or you want to know anything about what I'm up to or the ants or anything, please do ask them in the chat because otherwise I'll run out of things to talk to you before long. I mean, I could go on tangents, obviously, but Yeah, we could go anywhere on a tangent. Mistakes were made. Brilliant. I wish they could put hurdles in so you could see it and we'll just do a little leapfrog over the hurdles. That'd be brilliant. Now, as a runner, I can honestly say I always go fast out of the gate, like fast as hell out of the gate, get as far ahead as I can. And then I sort of lounge run most of it. And then for the last like, I don't know, 20 seconds, I'll just sprint again. And that's pretty much how I've always ran. And it's worked for me. I've got quite a few races under my belt, we could say. Now that's a really interesting question, Mark. I'm going to bring that up in a second after the duck race. Thanks for coming in as well. Really, I wouldn't know how to code this. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. That was unexpected. Well done. Well done. That was a bit of fun. So I'm going to bring up that question on the screen in a second. Would ants whose main weapon is to sting always dominate ants whose main weapon is force of bite? I would actually say it was the opposite. I would say the force of bite, because they have a better chance of like dismembering the other ants, if you know what I mean. Stings hurt, yes, but until that venom has time to lay an effect, and it's cool, they'd have to like with when they go to sting other ants, they have to be able to do one-on-one battles, kind of gripping on, and they don't always get the stinger in. It can go either way. If you know, by the time they've got a stinger in, if the ants are biting each other at that sort of close range, I think the ants which bite are more than likely going to win most of the time. Not all the time. It really depends on the ant species, I think. So yeah, it's a hard one to say. Um, like if you, yeah, good night, Rose. Good night. Thanks for coming in. If you've got like a species like Fidoli, right? If you've got a Fidoli major against something like a Myrmekaruba, I'm pretty sure the Fidoli would just chop it in half. You know what I mean? But then if you've got like one of minor workers against bullet ant, I don't know. The sting would be incapacitating. It would be a very species dependent question, I think. But in general, I would say the ants that bite would take down the stinging ones first because they've just got the power in the jaws. Then it does take 30. Yeah, now they are brilliant ants if you like that sort of active hunting. So I got my fix with that with the diacama, because that's sort of how they hunt, you know. And then they're pretty awesome. I'm just watching my tarantula at the moment, the big male tarantula. He's really active. He's really cool, wandering about his little enclosure. I'm going to have to get him a bigger enclosure because I'm not happy in what he's in, but it was only meant to be a temporary fix until I get him a bigger one. We've got all sorts of new tanks and stuff arriving in the next few days, and it's going to be super exciting. I can't wait. I say a few days, it might even be a week or so, but we got new tanks coming, which is always cool. I'm going to have to find room for them. I might even have to build shelves because I literally have no space left. Even on top of other enclosures, I've got other enclosures now. So like to feed everything, I have to move enclosures to be able to feed some of the other closures. Are those white things with red liquid feeders? Yeah, they're feeders. They're literally full of the ant sugars. You will get some in the package that I'm sending you. Don't worry, some of the ant sugars. We make the ant sugars. We're quite proud of them. They're sort of addictive for ants. Like, not actually addictive. They're not addictive at all, but the ants do go nuts for them. This colony will go through like a litre of it a week. It kind of is a special formula. This one is a special formula. Like, you can make sugar waters and honey waters at home quite easily. And to be honest, if you've got smaller ants, you've actually got a Camponotus species, so you're fine. But smaller ants and most ants, I would recommend putting it on cotton wool rather than filling a towel like this, because most ants won't drink it like as fast as this, you know what I mean? But just put a few drops of it on a bit of cotton wool, put that inside the test tube or enclosure, and they will suck it out of the cotton wool and not get stuck to it and drown, which is one of the main things. This does, if you leave it, if it spills and you leave it, it does turn really sticky because of the high sugar content in it. But it is really good stuff. And yeah, mantis like it, beetles like it, isopods like it. Pretty much most inverts actually, true bugs can't drink it. I did not know that. But yeah, most things I've tried do enjoy it. It's just nice fruit drink for them, basically. Sugary, fruity drink. I've been feeding the mantis on the end of the bottle. I've seen that a few times now. In fact, I've seen one mantis holding a bottle and refusing to give it back. Like, literally just trying to drink the whole thing. That was quite funny. It was an adult mantis as well. But yeah, so I'll send you some of that in the package. And yeah, feed it to your ants and they'll thank you for it. Obviously, they do need protein as well. This is just the carbohydrates, so carry on feeding them protein. I tend to, on smaller colonies, I don't tend to give them protein and carbs on the same day. Obviously, this colony is massive and they just eat and eat and eat. They've got about 20 roaches in there at the moment. Spread throughout this tank and the top tank. And to be honest, all three tanks look like this at the minute. It's pretty insane. I think there's been another population boom, which won't surprise me because it wasn't long ago we had another nuptial flight within the tank. I have no idea how many queens I've actually got laying in there. I know I've got 2 because it started with 2. But I actually started with 3, but 1 died. But it started with 2, and however many's been accepted back into the colony. I can happily say I've caught around 70 queens, like fertile queens that have ripped their wings off and ready to go. And they will be getting sold alongside our weaver ant enclosures when they get released. No time soon. I say no time soon, not super soon. It will be probably just after our Weymouth event that I'd release those enclosures. I've got a lot going on at the minute and I need to make sure they're absolutely perfect before I am happy to release our own range of enclosures like that. They gotta be right, they're gonna change the world of ant keeping. They gotta be perfect. Yeah, Jason, something like waxworm is quite suitable, for a small colony of 9. A waxworm or a mealworm. I can send you a couple of waxworms, actually, don't worry about that. You tend to find a roach, like a very small roach, they might eat most of it. Like, give them it, but then take out the remains after a few days so that it doesn't go Fausty, basically. But yeah, they'll only eat what they want to eat, and you can't really overfeed them. So fruit flies are always good. Yeah, fruit flies are brilliant. You might find that they are a little bit timid on fruit flies. They won't go for springtails mantis colony, I can tell you that one. It's Camponotus creataris, quite a large species. They probably won't even notice springtails, but fruit flies, yes. But you might find at such a small colony, they tend not to bother with them, and they just end up walking amongst each other, just because they're not a very aggressive species at that size as well. They're quite not timid, but they just kind of twaddle on. Any known benefits to ant venom? Actually, yes. There's been a lot of investigations lately into different venoms. Not just in ants, but in lots of different inverts. And I can't tell you specifically because obviously I'm just not that well known. Like, I don't know enough to tell you about it confidently, but I can tell you that they have been looking at different applications for different venoms and acids and stuff produced by ants. Formic acid is actually something they've looked at. They're looking at the different enzymes and things within the acid and things that we can get out of it for that. Lots of medicinal, is that the right word? They're using it, like taking those bits and putting them into medicines and stuff like that. So they are doing a lot, they are looking into it, but I don't know enough about that sort of the research, to be honest. It's not one of the fields of research that I'm highly, I wouldn't say involved with, because I'm not really involved with many bits of research, but I do like to help out in a few fields. But that's just not something I know much about. Do pets at home sell waxworm? Yes, they do. I sell waxworms. I sell waxworms, roaches, and all sorts. Speaking of roaches, they are running about like mad things for food. I'll feed them in a bit. I only fed them, like, was it last night? Yeah, it must have been last night or earlier today. I gave them a whole cucumber and that enclosure, but there is quite a few in there. Yeah, waxworms are pretty easy to get hold of. eBay's really cheap. I'm really cheap. Pets at home, I'm not sure how much pets at home cost, but I know they sell them. Most pet shops will sell waxworms, and they're fairly cheap, like I say. One of the cheaper feeders, and that's one of the reasons I love them. Because when you go through them like I do, like, it's just ridiculous. I say, I don't know. We're going to be giving this anchor, in fact, I'm filming it probably later tonight, because they're still hungry, like a hungry caterpillar. They're still hungry, and he ate this and he ate that, and he was, you know the story. We're not getting into that. I'm going to feed him a whole pork chop, mainly because we had a packet of 6, so there's only 5 of us in the family. And I was like, you know what? My aunt's eating so much in a minute. I'm going to give him a whole pork chop. It can't be that different. Like, I know out in the wild, they will eat raw meat. They will eat an animal. If it's dead, they will eat it. So I'm going to give them a pork chop. I'll film it for you, obviously. I've done I've done the footage of like the overview of how they are at the moment, just to like show what's been going on and whatnot. And then I'm just going to film them eating a whole pork chop, basically, see how long it takes. It's probably going to take them a while, but it's probably not going to take as long as we think. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have given them a ton of roaches first, but they were at the point where I was finding them on my office desk and stuff. And literally, the only way to keep these contained is to keep feeding them, because like, even with all the barriers and everything, like, they find the ways out. They do. They go up the wire for a start. I've never really bothered about the wire, but yeah, we find them about occasionally. I have seen 1 or 2 actually fall off the branches now, I will admit, but they've been up for months, so it's not a bad. I don't see them like raining off all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I can deal with it. The wife will be sat there in the evening, and she'll just be like, "There's an ant over there." Oh yeah. Get the tweezers then. Okay, here we go. She just picks them up in the tweezers, drops them back in. We've got special tweezers that don't hurt the ants as well. So we literally just pick them up with the tweezers, put them back in. I've got to the point where I literally just pick them up with my fingers. Hello, Mr. Dive, and chuck them back in the tank. Like, there's so many of them now. If I do accidentally squish it, I'm not too worried about losing the odd one worker. It might actually be beneficial. So yeah, we do find them about occasionally, and it tends to be when they're looking for more food. The barrier stuff, do I put it on before the ants are in or out? Right, so the barrier, if you will, right, so the barrier, you need to sort of reapply it as it gets worn down, which doesn't actually happen that often, because we use a anti-ant, like a ant repellent in it as well, like a natural ant repellent in it. They tend to avoid going near it once they know it's there, and it can last a blooming long time. So I say layer it on really thick. Like shake the bottle really hard when you get it. Shake the bottle really hard. Um, pour some out into the pot that we give you, and sometimes mix it up for a bit because it's rubbing alcohol based. So the more you mix it and let it sit there, the more will evaporate off and it will thicken up, you know. So apply it. I like to apply it quite thickly so you get a nice thick layer all around the outside of the enclosure. Now, it doesn't matter if your ants are in it or out of it. I say if you're doing the initial one and there's going to be loads, it's better to do it without the ants in it and give it time to air out. Now, you can do it with the ants in it and exactly the same, but again, leave the lid off for like just 10 minutes or so. Once you've got that barrier there, you don't have to worry about the lid, but leave it off for an extra 10 minutes because that rubbing alcohol is going to release gas, and you don't want to put the lid straight on with your ants in there and gas them to death, basically. It is a possibility. It hasn't happened yet, but it's rubbing alcohol at the end of the day, and it is a possibility if you don't do it in a ventilated space. So yes, just be aware of that. But if you're just doing little top ups occasionally, again, you're probably not going to have an issue because most enclosures have some form of ventilation. But I say if you're using a ton of it just to go around the whole of the outside, it is worth leaving the lid off for that extra 10 minutes. Especially if your ants are already inside. I hope that answers the question. I love the barrier mix that we use, but I tend to go through tons of it as well. Mainly with the dives, this colony here, because they build right next to it and they knock it with sticks. And there's so many other bugs which live in there. The beetles tend to walk straight over it and take it out wherever they go, which was quite. It's actually the reason we got rid of all the snails from the enclosure, because at one point we did have a couple of snails living in there, but they literally just went straight through the barrier and left a massive gap. And I come down in the morning, there's just ants everywhere, and it was like, oh my god. Would I keep a six-eyed sand spider? And have I ever kept a fishing spider? I would keep a six-eyed sand spider. I have no idea what it is, but I would, because there's not much I wouldn't keep, to be honest. I'm quite confident in my own abilities to be able to research and adapt my keeping style. You know, I can look after most things as long as I know what I'm doing, which I tend to do a lot of research and find out if I don't know. A fishing spider I've never kept, I don't think. But again, I would never say no to anything. I've got a whole range of everything. I've got centipede, tarantulas, roaches, assassin bugs, ants, isopods, snails, mantises, other roaches. What else have I got? Millipedes, beetles, vampire crabs. Got all sorts of stuff. You've never seen one for sale? Okay, that's interesting, Mantis Garden. It's one of those. I don't know a lot of tarantula and spiders, to be honest. It's not one of my massive things that I know a lot about all the different species. Not like ants, whereas I know like ants that I don't even keep. I only really, with tarantulas, I've only really done a lot of research into the ones that I already keep, or I'm looking at keeping. I'm looking at the Balfour's next, or a nice terrestrial tarantula, because I've got 3 arboreal tarantulas now, which are amazing, but I would like a terrestrial tarantula as well. Like a big hefty one. Sand spiders you need a license for. I did not know that. See, this is why I always say you got to do research, because you just got to know. Can ants eat white sugar cubes? Yes, they can. It's not necessarily good for them though, because the sugar that we get is sort of refined and bleached and all sorts of stuff. So it's not always the best for them. But yeah, they will. I've seen a Melanopus bicolor colony take sugar cubes, actually, proper sugar cubes. Takes them a while to move them, but they do. A DWA license from the council. Wow, quite impressive. So yeah, my council would pretty much just be like, yeah, whatever you want. They're pretty cool with me, I will say. As much as I always moan about my local council, and they are worth moaning about. I tell them that to their face. they are being rather supportive in what I'm trying to build as my legacy, we could say. It's not just a business, it's not just a brand, it's turned into my whole legacy, and it's pretty amazing what we do here, isn't it? But I've written something. I always write my little list of things that I'm going to talk about and this and that. So I've written something on my list, and I have no idea what it says. Sure. Starts with a S and a H. But apart from that, oh yeah, I've got scorpions. I forgot to say that. I got 2 scorpions down there. I got mantis. Did I say mantis? I always forget. Like I've got so many different things, so it's hard to list them all. Worms. Got worms. Yeah, they say I give up. Can ants eat tofu? I don't know. I don't even know if I can eat tofu. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. No one should eat tofu. I don't know. Like honestly, I don't even know what tofu is. Isn't it like I don't know. Just it's not something I have in my diet. Not that I'm opposed to eating it, but it's not just something I eat. Oh yeah, I've got a leech. Thank you, Dean. I've got leeches. I've got a lot of different inverts. If it's a cool invert, I'm going to be like fascinated by it. Beetles. Yeah, we've got beetles. There's just lots and lots of different things. But I love it. And I'm going to have more space again soon, so we'll be getting loads more. Got to sort out my gym first, which is happening this week, actually. It's going to be nice because it's just starting to turn into nice weather, and parts of it are going to be outside, and it's going to be beautiful training outside. I'm looking forward to it. Would ants be able to eat a small snail? Oh, yeah, they'll eat a snail. They'll eat snails, slugs, anything like that. In fact, there was a slug which made its way into the tank one day. We managed to film it, and then the next day it was eaten, and there was just a bit of a remains of a slug, and yeah, it was gone. So they have these ants in particular have a liking for slugs and snails. In fact, if anyone needs any snails, I currently have about 1 million snail babies. Send me a message and I'm sure I can work out a deal. You can have them as feeders. How do they get into it, the snails? Yeah, I think they just kind of dig them out. You know what I mean? There's always still that soft, gooey hole, and they just dig them out and eat them from the insides. That's pretty much what I've seen and what I assume carries on after I've seen. It's an interesting one. I mean, ants will eat most things. They'll take down most predators, most prey items. They'll eat most things, especially if you get more aggressive types of ants like these polyraccostides, or even worse. Army ants, they'll eat everything within like a massive radius every day, and they move to the next spot and do it again. Oh yeah, ants will be able to eat a leech easily, and especially as the leech hasn't really got many defenses to fight back. Like once they rip into the skin and start eating the goo, that's it. That they get what's it? They become like mad for it, and there'll be no stopping it. Good evening, antisocial. Thank you for coming in. Anyone tried the scrambled eggs with their anyone tried scrambled eggs with the ants? I haven't, but I have given raw egg before. No, it was boiled egg. Boiled eggs I've done, and they eat boiled egg quite happily. And the isopods then decide to live in the eggshell, and actually the eggshell still being in there probably a year and a half after we put it in. It's not gone moldy or nothing, it's we've got tons of springtails for a start. You only have seed eaters. That's very true, Mantis Garden. We need to get you some more ants. I will send you some soon. You're on the list. I just haven't got round to it. When I get ahead of myself again, I'll start sending things like that again. Gotta get myself back on track. I would say just taking like 5 days off to pop in the hospital is it knocks me back a lot of work. Lots of work. I came back and in fact there was just thousands of emails. Good evening, Ant Farm Supplies. Nice to see you here as well. The night just died out. Oh, that sucks. Don't rush to say that though, because sometimes they just suck and you don't see them for ages. We will leave that jar as it is for now and we'll see how it goes, but we'll sort something else out for you, Mantis Garden. Yeah, Cat, when I get babies I shall shoot some your direction. Mantis Garden, it's about an hour or so, a couple of hours drive between us. Hour or so, it's about a couple of hours, but it's not far really, you know. If we were like up north, it would be like 5-minute journey on the motorway between us. It's sort of that distance. But it's a nice journey as well. She sort of lives more Bristol way than I do. But it's hard to say if you've got a better view, Cat. Actually, my ocean's better than yours, but you've kind of got like cool stuff around you, and my town's not that great for that sort of stuff. Like we've got more cultural stuff, whereas you've actually got touristy stuff. I don't know. Yeah, a bus and a train ride. Yeah. But it's not that far, really. Is it? I don't know. I have no concept of what's far and what's not anymore. I organised a show in Sheffield and everything feels really stupid after that. Like that was really like hard work. I can honestly say it poses a lot more challenges than organising a show in even Bristol. It's just crazy. Yeah, that'd be cool, Mantis Garden. I'd appreciate that. I will get you a parcel out as well in the next few days. Basically, I think I'm going to have to order more boxes at this rate. Any thoughts regarding ants' consumption of salt, like chips? Right, this is really, really interesting, actually. And I'd like to say I did a study, but what I was hoping to do never actually turned into much of a study because I didn't get the results I was expecting from day one. Because I live on an island, right, and I can honestly tell you we've got a quite high salt content here. You see it on the sides of buildings where it gets blasted in from the wind and stuff, right? I was expecting to see a decrease in the amount of inverts and especially snails closer to the ocean. My God, I was wrong. There's literally no difference. I found snails pretty much walking across the beach. I found ants living in the beach. It makes no difference to salt content like that. Now, eating salt, I don't think they just don't. Like, if you put a lump of salt in front of them, I don't think they would go for it. Yes, you all live on an island, but your island's much bigger than my island. My island's like a little bit hanging off of your island. It's like I'm not going to go. I'm not saying it because it's not past my 10 o'clock curfew time, but yeah. But it's like the little dangly bits on the bottom of your island, right? There we go. I don't know where we're going with that. My God. Yeah, right. So I don't think they would actually eat a lump of salt. I don't think they would take it. They might. I don't know. Like, no, I don't think so because they don't have salt glands and things to like process it. Yeah, I don't think they would go for it. There is foods that they won't touch. If it shows no benefit to them or their colony, then they won't go for it generally. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. But honestly, I don't know. But yeah, I always found it really interesting. I even found snails running, like walking along, sliding along the beach, running, walking, sliding along like the beach side, and it's literally like it's got to be so much salt just on the floor. I was tempted to lick it. I didn't, but that would be the one way of finding out how much salt. You could probably get a machine actually tell you, but I'm not going to go spending money on this sort of thing. That's just craziness. I'll find someone who's willing to lick the floor next to the beach and then willing to lick the floor nearer my house and tell me what's more salty. That's the plan. Once we find that person who's willing to do that, they're probably willing to do most things. So we'll get them to get stung by the bullet ants at the same time. Your wife would. Oh dear, that's not good. Oh dear. We are heading towards the end of the stream now. If you have any further questions, comments, or anything, please do chuck them in. Don't forget to hit that like button for me as well if you don't mind and you've enjoyed the stream. Obviously, don't hit it if you haven't enjoyed the stream. You're more than welcome to hit the button, but that kind of sucks for me. It's all good. I don't mind, but it does help out the channel, and I'm trying to push it that little bit at the moment because I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's sort of like it's been the goal since we reached 100 and realised something was actually going out of this. We never expected to have a YouTube channel, not the public was going to watch. We just, when we put up our first videos, that was for our own consumption at home to save the memory on my phone, and then it's just sort of grew from there, really. And yeah, so I fully appreciate all the support from everyone. It's been a spectacular journey, and onwards and upwards it shall go. Salt monster Moisture Clock. Well, hurry up with those. Yeah, very true. Right. That's coming out tomorrow. I'll put them in. That's a good point, Mantis Card. I'll get that out with that lot, and yeah, you can do a big unboxing video for me. Deal. No, I have enjoyed this stream actually. It's been good fun. I hope you've all enjoyed it as well. Obviously, you know where to find me. If you need me, send me a message anytime. I am getting more active on all the more channels. Again, after my long resting period, which I cannot be dealing with. I hate resting, but I do need to let my body chillax sometimes. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll answer you. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, all of the other ones, YouTube. If you haven't joined our Discord, head over to the Discord as well. Can someone please put a Discord link in before the stream, please? Head over to Discord. Most of the people here tonight obviously are already over there, but if you haven't joined, then it's always good fun and lots of chat to be had. Lots of advice and friendly people in there if you need it as well. And it's another avenue you can poke me from if I haven't messaged you back on Facebook or whatever. I'll give a minute to see if someone can post that link for me. If you do, you're absolutely spectacular. The wife said she's going to sub. Yeah, awesome. See, we've got to share the subs. You'd be surprised how many of like my good close friends locally haven't subscribed. Thank you, Dino. Haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's like they'll come around and be like, "Hey, why haven't you even subscribed that?" And they're like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing." It's like, but you're meant to be my mate. It's a fun because it's like it's easier to reach people that I don't know and tell them about these things than people that I do know, which want to talk about something else because they're bored of listening to me talking about ants. I'm having double ant, my young daughter, when I Mantis are absolutely awesome. It's Mantis Garden. He's over Discord. He says it actually right there in front of me. I should have read that. Sorry. He knows pretty much everything. Not everything, but he knows a hell of a lot, and he's a great guy to talk to as well. I'm sure you don't mind me saying that, Simon. So yeah, it's been absolutely spectacular. Thank you all for joining. We will be back on Wednesday. I am putting the Wednesday ones back in now. I'm doing better. So Wednesdays and Sundays, live streams. We do the live feeding from 8:30, and then we start chatting at 9 p.m. I have got some interviews lined up and coming up in the next few weeks. A couple of them are pre-recorded. A couple of them are live interviews. It's going to be great fun. I hope you enjoy them as much as I've enjoyed doing them. Don't know what else there is to say. Massive thank you to our sponsors, obviously, Answer Us and Valhalla Martial Arts, supporting me to put on these streams. I would have been able to get half the technology that we used for doing it if it wasn't for them. So a massive thank you to them for their onward support in that aspect and everything else. As always, you know where to find me. I hope to see you all at a show very soon, but I'm going to love you and leave you. Send me a message if you need me. Good night, everyone. Feels weird ending like that. I've got to say it properly. So as always for me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Good night.